Welcome to Computer Fundamental Lab Practice, and this is Kumar Swami Dapa from SRRS Government Polytechnic College, Sirsilla. And today we are going to learn about the various components of a computer. Okay, so after completion of this particular session, a student will able to know what is a computer and what are the main components of computer. Then we are going to discuss about the input unit, output units with the help of several examples. Then we are discussing about CPU, central processing unit. So okay, it includes the arithmetic and logical unit, control unit, and memory unit. Okay, and at last we are going to discuss about one of the input device, that is the keyboard, in detail. Okay, so we are discussing about mainly these three components of computer in detail. Okay, so now the meaning of a computer. First of all, we need to know the what is a computer. Okay, so in general, a computer is in simple words, the computers are machines that performs a set of functions according to their user's direction. They are going to perform set of functions or operations according to the user who are using that computer, giving the directions. Okay, so computers are the machines that performs the set of functions according to uh, their user's direction. Okay, now so going by this definition, several electronic devices such as laptops to calculators. Okay, from laptops to calculators, all are we can simply call it as computers. Okay, so here laptops to calculators in the sense laptops, desktops, or tablet PCs. Okay, calculators, mobile phones, etc., all the electronic devices. Okay, we can simply call them as computers. Okay, now, the computer compromise of the basic elements like hardware, software, and programs, data, and connectivity. So these are the main elements of computer. So computer elements includes an hardware, software, programs, data, and connectivity. So here, hardware in the sense, whatever we are seeing, whatever we can able to touch, those simply we can call it as a hardware, right? So in computer, so we can able to see, watch, and touch keyboard, monitor, printer, mouse, hard disk, pen drive. So all these are the hardware devices. Okay, now coming to the software, softwares are the set of programs. Okay, software is nothing but a set of programs. We are using softwares to perform a specific kind of operation, a special some operation. Okay, so generally the softwares includes Microsoft Office Suite. It is a software, right? Microsoft Windows, Windows 10 operating systems, Windows 8, XP, Unix, calculator applications that we are using in the computer, notepad, wordpad applications. So all these are we can simply call it as softwares. Okay, then programs. So as right, the programs are nothing but the set of statements or instructions to perform a particular task. Okay, and data, here data in the sense that may be an inputted data or outputted data. If the data is if the user is giving some instructions to the computer, so that instructions we can call it as an input data. if the computer is after performing some operation, if the computer is generating some output, some then that is also an data, output data. Okay, like this. And then connectivity, here the connectivity means how we are going to connect several hardware that are available in the computer with the help of some connectivity devices, connecting devices. Okay, like bus cables, power cable, and etc. Okay, now no computer can function in absence of these elements. Okay, so these elements are crucial. So without these elements, no computer can perform. With no computer can function. Any if the computer is absence of any one of these elements. Okay, now so apart from these elements, a computer system comprises three basic components. So um, now we are talking about the components of computer. Okay, so there are only mainly three basic components are there: input, output, and CPU. Okay, so that we are going to discuss in the um, coming slides. Okay, now so these components are responsible for making computers actually function. So these are there are three basic components, that is nothing but input device, input, output, and CPU. So these are the three main components, okay, available in computer. These components are responsible for making computers actually function. These components are responsible to make the all the elements to coordinate each other so that it can able to perform, it can able to function uh, as like the user is expecting. Okay. Next, now it's time to discuss about the components of computer system. Okay. So here the components of every computer system has the following components. Okay, every computer system is having the following three basic components, that includes input in central processing unit and output unit. Input unit, central processing unit, and output unit. So these are the three basic components available in computer. Okay, now let us discuss about the some in detailed about all these three components, right? So while there are other components are as well, but these three are the primary responsible for making a computer function. Okay, so even though the computer contains some other components, but these three are the main components. So the functioning of computer mainly purely depending on these three components. Okay, and we can even call them the building blocks of a computer system. So we can call these three components as the building blocks of a computer system. Okay, so they must work in complete synergy because that will ensure smooth overall functioning. Okay, so these components are responsible for functioning of computer in an effective manner. Okay, so the building blocks of computer system includes three component. They are input unit, output unit, and a central processing unit. Okay, now here is a simple diagram. It represent the various components of computer. So input unit, CPU unit, central processing unit, and output unit. So these are the three components, and that CPU is again categorized into a memory unit, control unit, and arithmetic and logical unit. So these three comprises central processing unit. Okay, these three comprises central processing unit. Okay, memory unit, control unit, and arithmetic and logical unit. Now, now I am going to give a brief introduction about all these components right now. So input unit. input unit is responsible for receiving the input from the user. Okay, and whatever the input received by the input unit, which is transferred to CPU. Okay, now CPU is responsible to receive responsible to perform the operations, and it is responsible to generate the output. Okay, now here what happens is, after receiving the input, the control unit receives the input from the user, and it in association with the arithmetic and logical unit, it performs the operations. The data is transferred to arithmetic and logical unit, where the operation can perform. Then control unit coordinate with the memory unit to store the results, to get the data which is existing in the memory unit. Then the whatever the output generated by this arithmetic and logical unit, it will be transferred to the output unit. Okay, now here this control unit is the heart of the computer. It coordinates, it controls all the components of the system. It controls the input unit, memory unit, arithmetic and logical unit, and output unit. Okay, so it coordinates all the components of the computer. Okay, so now the output unit is responsible for displaying or giving the output to the user in the form of user understandable form. Okay, so here input given by the user is in the form of user understandable language. Now that input is transferred into the computer understandable language, then it performs the operations, and at last, after performing the operation, it transfer the output, that is in the form of uh, computer understandable form only. Then the output unit is responsible to convert that computer understandable form of data into a user understandable form. Okay, so now here is another example. It represents the elements of the computer system: input unit, processing unit, output unit, and storage unit. So here processing unit includes a control unit and arithmetic and logical unit. Okay, so it includes processing unit includes the processor. Okay, input units are the some mouse and keyboards are there. Storage unit means it may be a hard disk or pen drive, and output unit means these are the speakers, and here is a printer. Okay, so these are the few example represented with the components of computers. Okay, now let us look about uh, input unit. Okay, so now it's time to discuss about input unit. Okay, the this component helps users enter data and commands to a computer system. So this input unit is helping the user to give some input, that may be a command or it may be some information or instruction, okay, to the computer system. Okay, so data can be in the form of numbers, words, actions, commands, etc. So the data may be in the form of numbers, some 0 to 9. Words means some alphabets, or combination of several alphabets, words, symbols, etc. Actions means delete action from the keyboard, enter action. Okay, something like that. Commands means so it includes several DOS commands or etc. Okay, commands are nothing but the instructions. So we can give the input in any form. Okay, so all those are the they are using the various forms of input to transfer the data from user to computer. Okay, so the main function of input device is to direct commands and data into computers. Okay, so the input devices is responsible to direct to transfer commands and data into computer. Okay, the computers then use their CPU to process this data and produce output, right? So whatever the data received from the input unit, okay, the data is transferred to central processing unit. The central processing unit is responsible to process that data. After processing that data, it is going to generate some output. That output is again transferred to the output devices. Okay, now the following are the some of the important input devices which are used in computer. Okay, so the basic component or most frequently used components are mouse and keyboards. Okay, the joystick is there, light pen, trackball, scanner, and then graphic tablet, microphone, right? Magnetic ink card reader, optical character reader, and a barcode reader, optical mark reader. So these are the several input devices. Okay, so by using these devices, we are going to give some input to the CPU. Okay, so here are the few diagrammatical representation along with their labels of input devices. So as we know the keyboard and mouse. So this is the keyboard and this is the mouse. Okay. So here is the trackball. Okay. So in the olden computers, olden laptops, they are inbuilt with the mouse in this form. So this is for moving the cursor and these are the left right click buttons are there. Okay. So in the olden computers they are given the mouse in this trackball form, and this is a mic to receive the instructions from the user. Okay, and this is the camera. Camera is also an input device, right? And the digitizer. So this is a digitizer uh, along with some pen. So with the help of this, we can give some instructions by writing something here. And this is the scanner we are using to scan the documents or information, photos, etc. Okay. So these are the few input devices. Now let us discuss about one of the main input device that we are using regularly is a keyboard. Okay, so keyboard is the most common and very popular input device which helps to input data into the computer. Okay, so keyboard is helpful to give the data to the computer. Okay, the layout of the keyboard is like that of a traditional typewriter. So whatever the keys that are available in typewriter, almost all those keys along with some of the additional keys provided by for performing additional functions. Okay, so it includes all the keys that are present in typewriter, so that the user can able to give the input to the computer. So not only the keys available in the typewriter, it also provided with some additional keys to perform some additional functionalities, to give to perform some additional activities. Okay, and the keyboards are of two sizes, 84 keys or 101 or 102 keys. Okay, so but now keyboards are with 104 keys or 108 keys are also available for Windows and internet. Okay, so the initial keyboards are two types, 84 keys sized keyboard and 101 or 102 sized key 102 keys keyboards. But now 104 and or 108 keyboards are also available. Okay, now the keys on the keyboards are as follows. Now it is the time to discuss about the various keys that are available on the keyboard. Okay, right. So now let us discuss about the different keys available on the keyboard. Okay, the first one is serial number keys and description typing keys. Description typing keys. So these includes letters A to Z and digit keys 0 to 9. 0 to 9. So which generally gives the same layout as that of typewriters. Okay. So the keys alphabets from A to Z and 0 to 9 digits. So these are the typing keys. Okay, and then numeric keys. So it is used to enter numeric data or cursor movement. Generally, it consisting of a set of 17 keys that are laid out in the same configuration used by most adding machines and calculators. Most of the adding machines and calculators. So along with this description and number keys, this numeric keypad is also separately added with the keyboards. We are using this numeric keypad to enter uh, the numbers along with the basic numerical operations that we are going to perform. Those operators are available. So total 17 keys are there in the keypad, numeric keypad. 17 keys are there in the numeric keypad. Okay. So with the help of this, we are going to perform some numeric input and numerical operational data as an input to the computer. Okay, now functional keys. Now the functional keys, there are 12 functional keys are present on the keyboard, which are arranged in a row at the top of the keyboard. Okay, each functional key has a unique meaning and is used for some specific purposes. Okay, so F1, F2, F3, F4 and up until F12. So there are total 12 functional keys are there, and these functional keys are present on the in a row, that is the on top of the keyboard. Okay, so we can see F1 to F12 keys in between the beside the escape key. Okay, so they are using for some specific purposes, and each functional key has an unique meaning and it is used for some specific purpose. For example, F1 key is always used in every software or in every application for help purpose. Okay, and so we are using F5 to refresh the browsers or to refresh the Explorer, Windows Explorer. Okay, and in the similar way, we are using F2 to perform some rename operations. Okay, and F6 to save as operations. So like that, every key functional key is having some separate meaning. Okay, now fourth one is the control keys. So here the control keys provide the cursor and screen control. So we are using these control keys to provide cursor and screen control. So it includes four directional arrow keys. This down, up, left, and right arrows. So these are the sometimes we can call it as navigation keys. navigation keys. So with the help of this directional arrow keys or navigation keys, we can move the cursor position on the screen. Okay, and the control keys also includes home key, end key, insert key, delete key, page up, page down, and control key, alt key. So we are calling alt. So actually it is alternate key and escape key. So these are insert, home, delete, page up, page in, control, alternate, and escape keys are included with this directional keys. So we are calling it as control keys. Okay. So this home key we are using to move to the home of the or starting point of the document. End key to move to the ending point of the document. Or the both can we are using to move the starting point of a line or ending point of a line. In the similar way, insert key we are using to insert some characters or words or some information in between the already existed information. We are using delete key to delete the uh, data, to delete the files and folders, etc. And page up, page down keys we are using to navigate the towards top or bottom of the document. And this control and alternate keys are used along with some other another keys in combination to perform various operations. For example, uh, uh, alt plus F4 functional key we are using to close the explorer or windows. Control along with W alphabet W key we are using to close the windows. Escape key to stop the operations. Okay, so like this every key is available on the keyboard for some special kind of operation, for special kind of operation. Okay, and now special purpose keys are there. So here the special purpose keys includes enter key. So generally we are using enter key to accept the commands or to give the acceptance or rejectance of any commands to move to the next line in applications or windows, to move to the next operations we are using this enter. Shift in combination with alphabets to type smaller and capital letters. Then cap lock key is also there to switch on the lower and uppercase values, right? So numeric lock, number lock key is there to enable or disable the number keypad. Space bar is there to give the space between any two characters, and a tab is there to move the cursor position. And similarly print screen is there to capture the entire screen, to capture the entire screen of the computer. Okay, so like this five special keys are there. So this is the layout or diagram of keyboard. So these are the number keys, number keypad is here, right? So these are the special keys, these are the navigation keys, right? And these are the numeric keys and alphabet keys, and these are the number keys, and these are the functional keys. Okay, these are also special keys, and this is the space bar. Okay, control key, alternate key, windows key is there here. Okay, and this is the escape key. So in this way the layout of the keypad is organized. And here this is a USB type keyboard. So here we can see the USB. Okay, and PS by 2 keyboards are also available. PS by 2 keyboards are also available. The PS by 2 keyboard here this end point is it's something like a circle with some pins are there. So total 5 pins are there in the PS by 2 port type of keyboard. So these are the old type old type keypads. Okay, old type keyboards. So something like this. So keypad is like this. Keyboard is connected with the cable, and that cable at the end it is like something like this USB. So this kind of keyboards are called PS by 2 keyboards. So they are connected with the PS by 2 ports. Okay, keyboards are available nowadays. Keyboards are available. Wireless keyboards are available. Okay, wireless keyboards are available. Okay, so the most frequently used type of keyboards are USB keyboards. Okay, now it's time to discuss about the second type of component, that is the central processing unit of computer. So after receiving the data or commands from the user, a computer system now has to process it according to the instructions provided by the user. Okay, so that processing is purely rely on component called central processing unit. Okay, the component the processing of data purely are completely dependent on central processing unit. This central processing unit is further uses three elements to explain. So those are explained in the next slide. Okay, so one of the component of the CPU is the memory unit. Okay, once the user enters the data using input devices, the computer system stores this data in its memory unit. So whatever the input given by the user, that input is stored in memory units, and this data will now remains here until the other components of CPU process it. So until it is processed, the data is available in the memory only. Okay, the memory unit uses a set of pre-programmed instructions to further transmit this data to other parts of the CPU. So other parts of CPU includes the control unit and arithmetic and logical units, right? So it uses some set of pre-programmed instructions how to transfer the data from memory unit to the unit for which the inputted data is required. Okay, this memory unit is act as a brain to store the instructions or data which is given by the user. Okay, input unit. Okay, and now now we have to discuss. We are going to discuss about the second component or unit that is available in the central processing unit. So this part of CPU performs all the arithmetic operations in the sense addition, subtraction, multiplication, division operations, like that. All the arithmetic operations are performed here. Okay, so these arithmetic calculation includes, right, addition, multiplication, division and subtraction. Further, even it can perform some logical functions like a comparison of data. So logical operations like comparison, whether two values, which one is higher or which one is lower, whether two values are equal or not. So such kind of comparison operations also performed by this arithmetic and logical unit. Okay, so arithmetic and logical unit. So the name itself indicates that it is going to perform the arithmetic operations and as well as logical operations. Okay, so these operations are performed on the data. The data is provided by the memory unit. Okay, uh, for memory unit it is given by the input unit. Okay, and now we are talking about the control unit. So this control unit is the backbone of the computer. So we are calling the control unit as the heart of the computer. Okay, so it responsible for coordinating tasks between all components of a computer. Okay, for example, the data transfer from memory unit to arithmetic and logical unit can be done only when it receives the memory unit receives an instruction from the control unit, that the instruction is as transfer the data so and so data which is available in so and so memory location. Okay, then only that memory unit is able to transfer the data from the memory to ALU. Okay, so in this way this control unit is going to control all the units available in the computer, all the components available or which are connected to the computer. It coordinates the components available in the computer. Okay, so the control unit collects data from input unit and send it to processing unit depending on its nature. So depending on the type of data or nature of data, it collects the data from the input unit and send it to the processing unit. And finally, it is also further transmits the processed data to output unit for users. Okay, so whatever the data which is processed by the uh, ALU or processing unit, so the result generated by that particular processing unit is again transferred to the output unit based on the signals or instructions received from the control unit. Okay, so control unit is responsible for everything. Okay, and the last component of the computer that we are going to discuss today's session is an output unit, right? So we already discussed about the input unit and central processing unit. Okay, and the third unit is the third and final component of the computer system is the output unit. So after processing the data by the central processing unit, it is converted into a format which humans can understand, and after conversion the output unit displays this data to user. Okay, so if the data is displayed in the form of if it displayed and the data is not in a position to understandable by the humans, means that are only understandable by the machines computers, then it is useless. So that's way before displaying at the result of the computer, what it happens is whatever the result generated by the central processing unit, that is converted in the form of human readable form, then it is displayed on the computer so that the user can easily understand what is the output uh, the user is getting after giving some input with the help of an input device. Okay, so the examples of output devices includes monitors, screens, printers, speakers, etc. Right. So we can call that uh, plotters also comes under this output device. Okay. The output units basic basically produce the data formatted by the computer for users benefit. Okay, the output unit basically reproduce the data. Okay, reproduce the data formatted reproduce the data formatted by the computer for users benefit. Okay, so user understandable conversion can be done here. Okay, so these are the few pictorial representation of output devices along with their labels. So these are the webcams. This is a webcam and this is also another type of webcam, and these are the speaker and this is the monitor, right? So this is also a monitor, and here this is a printer and these are the headphones and these are the printers. Okay, so uh, now so this is about an output devices. Okay, now it's time to discuss about a few questions to check whether you are following this particular session or not. Okay, so here I am provided with the five questions. So try to attempt all the questions. Okay, so here there are dash components in a computer. So as per our discussions, we have only three components are available: input unit, central processing unit, and output unit. Okay, the mathematical and logical functions are carried out at by the, so where these mathematical and logical functions are performed in ALU, arithmetic and logical unit is going to perform this uh, arithmetic and logical unit is going to perform this uh, all the mathematical and logical operations. Right, dash is the backbone of a computer. What is the backbone of a computer? So this control unit or processing unit is the responsible for the is the backbone of the computer, right? So we can call it as a heart of a computer, as it contains the processor to perform the processing operation, right? So barcode scanners are the examples of what? So barcode scanners are the example for input devices, right? Storage of data happen in the dash component in the memory, right? So uh, so in the memory unit, that memory unit is under the CPU. Okay, so these are the answers for this session. Okay, so now again once again I am moving towards the input devices that are available. So here barcode reader is there. So barcode reader is an input device. Okay, barcode reader is an input device, and uh, these are the three basic components available in computer: input unit and central processing unit and output unit. Okay, and right, so this control unit which is available in central processing unit is the backbone of the computer. Okay, right, so uh, that's it for the today's session. And if you have any kind of queries, please ping to this kumarswami.dapa@gmail.com. And once again I am reminding that try to read uh, the information which is provided in this slides in the in this presentation, and try to uh, remember or memorize the input components, output components that are available in the real world. Okay, and try to remember these components, input devices and output devices, based on their nature of duty, right? For example, a ballpoint pen is there, so we are using that pen to input something to the computer by switching on that particular light. So right, so barcode readers and optical readers are available in the stores, right? So for example, if we went to purchase some groceries on the nearby supermarkets, they are using some barcode reader, and every product in that particular grocery shop is associated with some barcode. Okay, so with the help of the barcode, the scanning of that particular barcode, it going to give some input to the computer. It includes the name of the product and price of the product and manufacturing date and expiry date, etc., all those details. Okay, so try to learn uh, remember the various keys that are available on the computer system. Okay, uh, try to learn the keys that are available on the keyboard. Okay, And in the practical session, uh, we are discussing about the components that are available inside the CPU by dismantling one CPU in the lab. There, I am going to show you the hard disk, RAM, motherboard, and several components like a CMOS battery on the motherboard and registers on the motherboard. Okay, and several north bridges, south bridges are there on the motherboard, and CPU is also there. And I'm going to explain how to fix remove that RAM and processor from the motherboard, and how to fix, and then how to connect various input devices to the motherboard. Okay, and uh, I'm going to give the details about VGA ports or cables, and then we are going to discuss about hard disk, how the hard disk is connected to the motherboard. So several buses information. So we are using the buses to uh, connect several components of the computer. So in the computer we are using bus as a medium to transfer the information from one device to another device, or from source to destination, from memory unit to output unit, or from input unit to a motherboard, within the motherboard, among the to transfer the data from one component to another component. So like this, all the details we are going to discuss in the practical session. But my request is, before coming to the practical session, you must have some knowledge, at least the definition, and uh, about what we have discussed today. Okay, thank you for your patience.